Hello, I'm Doug Keck, EWTN's President and Chief Operating Officer, welcoming you to our new season preview. It's a chance to highlight some of the quality Catholic programming you can expect to see in the weeks and months ahead. You'll get updates on the classic programs you've already come to rely on, as well as an advanced look at some of our new exciting series starting in September. Also, major live events and special features that we know you won't want to miss. Plus, we'll tell you all the different ways you can get EWTN and how you can take better advantage of all that we have to offer. EWTN is everywhere that you are, and we'll prove it. Among our most anticipated new program series is Catholics Come Home with host Tom Peterson. Join him as he traverses North America, bringing you powerful, true life stories of heartbreak, redemption, and transformation. Now, many of these people were inspired by the popular Catholic Come Home commercials on the air. Experience their journeys of faith firsthand. We call it simply Catholics Come Home.
I would have called myself an agnostic for about 17 years. 17 years away from God, where my focus was on myself.
I was happy being an atheist. God just never came into my mind.
I cursed and yelled and screamed at God.
Pro-life and pro-family. The husband and wife radio team of Jim and Joy Pinto bring a wealth of on-the-job training to marriage and family issues in their new weekly live show, At Home with Jim and Joy. Focused on proclaiming the good news of the sacredness of life, marriage, and family, these passionate communicators will be joined by exciting guests and feature weekly segments of interest to Catholic families striving to live out their faith amidst a culture of death. Let's hear from them about this new program.
Thanks, Doug. At Home with Jim and Joy seeks to lift up the sacredness and the dignity of every human being, from the very moment of conception through natural death, every phase and stage of life. Every person is of inestimable worth, value, and dignity. We boldly lift up the sacredness of marriage and the family. We believe that life, marriage, and the family is God's plan to transform the world and that He will prevail.
We want to share ourselves with you and to bring hope and truth and realness of an ordinary couple, married 37 years, parents of 4 children, and grandparents of 15, facing all of life's circumstances, yet believing that with God, all things are possible.
We're going to have some wonderful guests sharing their talent, their resources with you to strengthen your life, marriage, and the family, but the show won't be complete without you. You can participate live, come into our home, be a part of the family. Life, marriage, family, and faith, God's plan to transform this world.
Remember, you are an important part of the EWTN family, and you're always at home with Jim and Joy.
Another new ongoing program that we're really proud to premiere is the Church Universal. Each week, our own chaplain, Father Joseph Mary Wolf, welcomes a new set of guests from one of the vast number of Catholic apostolates and ministries that work throughout the world. It's a series that illustrates how these groups, by acting out of love for Christ and His church, do such marvelous work of which few are aware. Perhaps one of their missions will touch your heart and inspire you to get involved as well. After all, we are all members of the Church Universal. And of course, we wouldn't have any sort of church, let alone a universal one, if it wasn't for the gift of the priesthood. That's why we believe Vocation Boom, a series which seeks to nurture the priestly call in our young men, is so vital today. You know, EWTN Radio's Jerry Usher is joined by historian Dr. Matthew Bunson each week as they talk with priests, seminarians, vocation directors, rectors, and lay people who have a passion for promoting vocations. Get some tips on how you can better promote vocations in your parish with Vocation Boom.
You know, every one of us, I think without exception, knows a young man who would make a good priest. In fact, I like to say that you may have a potential future priest sleeping in a bedroom down the hall from you or upstairs from you, your son, perhaps a grandson, a nephew, someone in your youth group. We need to ask ourselves on a regular basis, am I doing all I can to encourage these young men to consider a vocation to the priesthood?
Our Catholic faith is all-encompassing, touching every part of our lives, and this especially includes music and the arts. Jackie Leary Warsaw returns to host another season of In Concert, where EWTN showcases performances of sacred music from around the world. Tune in each week to be enriched by the timeless works of the greatest composers throughout history. EWTN also welcomes back Father Charles Connor for another installment of his ongoing series, Grab Your Catechism. Father Connor continues his weekly section-by-section exploration of our Compendium of Catholic Doctrine. There really is no better guide to this guidebook, so grab your catechism and hold on.
And this time, as we grab the catechism, we are going to start to consider the moral life. Part 3 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church contains a great deal of dense material. And when we start talking about the moral life, we immediately start thinking about the 10 Commandments, and we immediately start thinking about the Beatitudes. And certainly we're going to be looking at the 10 Commandments, certainly we're going to be looking at the Beatitudes, but there's a great deal of consideration just on the moral life in general.
One of our most anticipated new programs, Saints and Scoundrels, presents a lively debate between the most interesting and influential saints and sinners of history. And we do mean lively, since through the magic of television, our guide, Dr. Benjamin Weicker, welcomes into his private study famous and infamous figures of our past who continue to impact our lives today, for the good or the bad of it. Now you have a ringside seat as Dr. Weicker referees the greatest debates of all time in eternity, such as St. Augustine and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, St. Thomas More and King Henry VIII. See starkly what a difference it makes to follow God or man. One of the biggest programming headlines for this season has to be the success of the first daily Catholic network news program in the world, EWTN News Nightly. Brian Patrick anchors this Washington, D.C. based lively evening newscast that is global in coverage and Catholic in perspective, covering the stories others don't, asking the questions the others won't. Airing each weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern, it's EWTN News Nightly. Finally, a network newscast that you can believe in. Heroic Media, a weekly pro-life news and commentary program geared toward young adults and focusing on the moral issues of the day, including abortion, religious liberty, and traditional marriage. Tune in. Be informed so you too can be prepared for life's battle with the culture of death. Building on his previous 17 successful seasons, Marcus Grodi returns with all new episodes of The Journey Home. Each week, Marcus brings you inspirational stories of conversion to the Catholic Church that will both enlighten and encourage your faith. Let's check in with our friend Marcus now to see what we can expect in the coming months.
Thanks, Doug, and thanks again for this great privilege of being able to host this program. We begin our 18th season. Wow. And the guests are continuing to be very exciting. Their stories continue to inspire us. Once again, we look at some of the guests that we've planned, the usual. Former Presbyterian Church of Christ minister, an Episcopalian, former Episcopalian. We have a guest joining us from Australia. We have several non-denominational pastors who are going to talk about their journey into the church, and many returning Catholics, lay and clergy. So thank you for joining us on this program, and look forward to another season with you on EWTN.
And in case you're like me and you just can't get enough of this program, don't worry, as we will continue to bring you the best of The Journey Home each weekday. With the new series, Exile and Return, you get a chance to join Scripture scholar Father Joseph Panessa and Dr. Laurie Manhart as they cover much of the neglected parts of the Bible and deliver an expert Old Testament study on Tobit, Judith, Esther, Ezra, Nehemiah, and the Maccabees.
The situation that Esther found herself in was that after the first queen was deposed, Queen Vashti, who was disobedient to the king and failed to come at his command to his banquet, she was banished and sent from the kingdom, and a new queen was crowned, and that queen was Esther, the orphaned Jewish girl, a beautiful girl with a gentle and quiet spirit.
I can remember Mother's intention in first creating the EWTN Religious Catalog was to be a trusted source of religious art, inspirational books, and those famous holy reminders of hers that help you and your family grow in your faith. Now, some 18 years later, the EWTN Religious Catalog has expanded well beyond the TV show to include our print edition and an all-encompassing state-of-the-art secured website now called EWTNRC.com. That's EWTNRC.com. And remember that every purchase from Mother Angelica's Religious Catalog not only helps your family, but provides direct support to your TV family here at EWTN. Another perennial favorite is Crossing the Goal. Former NFL All-Pro receiver coach Danny Abramowitz and his team tackle a whole field of issues confronting men trying to live out their faith. And remember, keep an eye out for the Crossing the Goal team in your local area, as they will be hitting the road this upcoming season to tape all new episodes that will help diagram the Lord's game plan for your life. On our Theology Roundtable, EWTN staff theologians and guest priests led by Colin Donovan drill down into the core meaning of church teaching on a wide range of topical social and moral issues. Join us for our all-new radio-style improved live call-in format. Well over 400,000 friends of all ages follow us on our Facebook and Twitter, where they access EWTN programming updates, prayers, the latest Catholic news, and what's happening inside EWTN. On the go? Then check out our EWTN mobile app. Go to our EWTN is Everywhere webpage to see all the ways for you to stay connected to your EWTN Global Catholic family. Another way is by signing up for EWTN's Pinterest page. It's here that you'll find a plethora of pictures, videos, and descriptions of EWTN's latest efforts. And you too can be an evangelist by just pinning these pictures and videos when you travel about the web. Your friends will thank you. Just go to www.pinterest.com/EWTN and spread the eternal word. I think it's fair to say that no other network gives you the complete Catholic coverage of the papacy like EWTN. And you know, we pledge to continue that into the fall and beyond with a full slate of papal masses, papal trips, the Holy Father's weekly audience, and the Sunday Angelus. You'll especially want to be with us as we follow all of the Pope's international trips throughout the rest of this year, and even the Holy Father's visits next year to Sri Lanka and the Philippines. The one and only Father Mitch Pacwa has been a big part of our Global Catholic Network family from its very beginning. He welcomes guests from around the world to EWTN Live, and if you didn't already get enough of Father Mitch each week, his ever-popular Threshold of Hope is also live here on EWTN, where he is eager to take your calls and emails. Father Mitch, what's in store in the new season?
Thanks, Doug. I'm really excited about our new season of Threshold of Hope, where we will wind down Fides et Ratio, and we'll move on this time to crack open St. John Paul's encyclical, Veritatis Splendor, the splendor of truth. And then on Wednesdays, of course, there's EWTN Live, where we have a great new list of compelling guests and interesting topics coming your way. We'll talk with radio personality and longtime friend Al Cresta. We'll also talk with the president of the Pontifical Council for the promotion of the new evangelization, namely Archbishop Salvatore Fisichella. And we'll also talk with the founder of Culture of Life Africa, Obianuju Ekiocha. So we've got a full plate of engaging shows lined up, and we hope that you'll enjoy them all. Back to you, Doug.
You can always look to EWTN to unpack the works of the great Catholic writers. Focusing yet again on the legendary Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien, host Joseph Pierce takes us on a journey through Middle-earth to uncover the Catholic roots of the epic novel's core cast members in this special called Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, Elves, Hobbits, and Men.
Frodo, perhaps, is the most obvious everyman figure, as well as being a Christ figure. Remember, as the carrier of the cross of sin from Rivendell on Christmas Day to Mount Doom on Good Friday, Frodo's journey parallels the life of Christ. Yet insofar as Frodo is a Christ figure, Sam is the faithful follower of Christ. He can be seen as a representative, as a symbol of the faithful Christian who follows Christ into Mordor, the valley of death, through suffering to death itself, to Mount Doom, and as such is a symbol of what a true and good Christian should be.
You know, here at EWTN, we're constantly looking for new ways to make it easier for you to watch what shows you want to watch when you want to. You know, many of our programs, including our live shows, daily Mass homilies, are now available on EWTN's YouTube channel. Just log on to youtube.com/EWTN and you can watch your favorite shows online. And back for another season is the Catholic View for Women, a program that provides a faithful alternative to the secular media's offerings. Now you can join hosts Teresa Tomeo, Janet Morana, and Astrid Bennett Gutierrez weekly as they tackle the tough issues facing Catholic women today.
We never had a Bible in my home. It just was something wasn't there. You know, my mom went to church every Sunday. You know, we went to church, but we never had a Bible. So therefore, I didn't, and this is, don't laugh, please, but I never realized the readings at Mass from the Bible.
They just kind of made them up as they went along. They're very eloquent.
Readings. I'm sitting there listening to stories. Oh, this is nice. And then I never realized that there was a pattern to Mass, that, like, you know, first you get a reading from the Old Testament, then something from the letters, and then you get to the meat and potatoes, the gossips, you know? I mean, the Gospels. And I was like, why did I know this?
You know, many people want to go to conferences and retreats, but just can't afford the cost to travel to them. Well, now you can with EWTN. Each week, EWTN takes you across the country and around the world to conferences featuring the best speakers on issues important to your faith. Whether it's the liturgy, theology, science, or any other topic of concern, EWTN On Location provides a front row seat for you to listen and learn about your faith. Our powerful series, Defending Life, returns for its 18th season as the fight for the right to life continues. Janet Marana and the rest of the Priests for Life team discuss the steps you can take to help safeguard all life from conception to natural death. In this new set of episodes, we will have a number of first-time guests offering fresh insights about the current state of our fight against that culture of death. Now, if you're up for a cultural fight, you'll definitely want to learn more about Catholic philosopher Dietrich von Hildebrand, who was an outspoken opponent of the Third Reich. In He Dared Speak the Truth, John Henry Crosby and Dr. Alice von Hildebrand discuss how his criticism drew the wrath of Adolf Hitler himself, forcing him to first flee Germany, then Austria.
It's not a pleasant situation. That was in early 1935, and you are told that you can walk on the street and be shot.
The story of one of the great Catholic heroes of the 20th century shows the importance of maintaining our faith convictions in the face of moral decay and pagan tyranny. There is no EWTN without our beloved foundress, Mother Angelica. Her kindly humor and deep spiritual insights are an essential part of our programming lineup to this very day. And although she has been unable to appear live on the network for several years, her programs remain the anchor of our programming lineup. Every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern, spend your mornings with Mother as we continue to share Mother Angelica's timeless advice and counsel with a whole new generation. You know, one of the ways that you could stay up to date on EWTN and on Mother Angelica is by logging on to EWTN.com, your interactive site on the web for all things Catholic. Whether you are trying to find programming information for EWTN television or radio, or if you'd just like to enjoy live television and radio programming on the net, then go to EWTN.com. Or if you're on Roku, EWTN is there too. So check us out while you're there. For those of you who are constantly on the go and you'd like to download programming for your MP3 player or mobile apps so that you can watch EWTN on your iPhone, you can do that all at our website too. It's all there at EWTN.com. Now, one of the shows that you can catch on your mobile device is Life on the Rock, a show that's geared for Catholic young adults. Now, Life on the Rock deals head-on with topics relevant to living a life built on the bedrock truth of the Catholic Church. Life on the Rock is hosted by Father Mark, Mary Christina, and Doug Barry. Let's find out how the new season is shaping up at the Rock House.
Thanks, Doug. We're putting the finishing touches on another exciting season of Life on the Rock. We've got a great lineup of guests that will be sure to inspire and entertain. So, Doug, who do we have coming to the Rock House?
Well, first, Father, we've got Monsignor James Shea. He's from the University of Mary in Nebraska, which has the second fastest growing Catholic Studies program around.
We have Jerry Escher come in and talk about his series, Vocation Boom. And he's going to tell us all about the state of priestly vocations in this country.
Also, Father O'Hare and Andrew Lane are going to be talking about their film, Along the Border.
It's a great season. You want to be sure to join us. We're looking forward to it. Hope to see you there.
The World Over Live with Raymond Arroyo has been a staple of Catholic cultural analysis on EWTN for years. It's brought you exclusive interviews and topical debates of cutting-edge issues, the things you need to know about. Now let's hear from Raymond.
Thanks, Doug. Each week, you can be sure when you join us on The World Over, you'll see news, analysis, and guests you won't find anywhere else. Domestic and international news, comprehensive papal coverage, and great guests from the world of faith, politics, culture. In this new season, we'll bring you profiles and exclusives like Scottish singing sensation Susan Boyle, New Orleans musical legend Delphio Marcellus, the Hollywood director William Friedkin, and our old friend Jim Caviezel, and much more. So join us each week on The World Over Live, only on EWTN.
From the world over to the wounded world, EWTN is offering an all-new teaching series by Father Maurice Emelou, shot on location in Cameroon and in Nigeria. In Word for a Wounded World, Father Maurice draws from sacred scripture and tradition as well as Catholic spiritual masters in presenting tools for healing and reconciliation for all of us on the spiritual journey.
We must dare to be different. We must dare also to have a kind of revolutionary spirit.
Rich in African stories and experiences and inspired by Pope Francis. Every episode has been tailored to address a word to a particular wound. From the plight of the oppressed to the plight of the poor, Father Richard Ho Lung, founder of the Missionaries of the Poor, hosts all new episodes of the returning series, The Church in the Poor. Join Father Ho Lung and his special guests and volunteers as they share their personal experiences in working among the poor and what it's like to be part of the Missionaries of the Poor.
I was very much an uptight person, you know, and the thought of reaching out and touching somebody else was just not part of our culture, you know. And you come down here and you start working with the poor, and of course they hug you back, you know, and so it's a two-way street. And so as we give out, so do we get received back.
All of us realize that children are the future of the church, and EWTN is there to help guide that future. Let's take a look at shows produced that are specifically designed to aid you in passing along the faith to your children. My Time with Jesus begins with a journey back in time, as main characters Ava, Joseph, Christine, and Enrique experience gospel stories firsthand while learning the teachings and traditions of the Catholic faith. Plus, we'll be producing all new episodes of Cat Chat, and in development is a series on the Mass with the Donut Man himself, Rob Evans. Another returning favorite is Joanna Bogle's Feasts and Seasons of the Church. Now this season, she leads our viewers through devotional crafts and recipes for such occasions as baptisms, to Holy Communion, and weddings. She teaches about the sacraments and about cooking as well, to ensure that you're spiritually and physically fed. And you won't want to miss Web of Faith 2.0. The dynamic duo of Father John Trigilio and Father Ken Briganti are back answering your most pressing and provocative questions about the Catholic faith. If you have questions about the sacraments, the Bible, church teaching, don't miss all new episodes of Web of Faith 2.0. Jeanette Benkovic's popular weekday program, Women of Grace, continues with all new episodes that encourage and affirm women in their dignity as daughters of God. Jeanette explores the genius of women so profoundly portrayed in the Blessed Virgin Mary. Dale Alquist, president of the American Chesterton Society, explores issues through the eyes of one of the greatest Catholic minds of the last century in the 7th season of G.K. Chesterton, Apostle of Common Sense. It's often been quoted that G.K. Chesterton said something about everything, and he said it better than anybody else. Hear just what it was that Chesterton had to say through all new episodes of this returning series. New episodes of our weekly series and live shows are just the beginning. We constantly try to present new feature programs and mini-series to entertain, inspire, and catechize. Our feature time slots, EWTN Cinema, Catholic Compass, and the EWTN Gallery, highlight a unique array of inspiring Catholic films, seasonal dramas, documentaries, and mini-series. Now, one such featured program is an energetic new documentary presenting the life and the work of English poet Francis Thompson and the backstory to his very famous work, The Hound of Heaven, a poem that has captured the hearts and minds around the world for over 100 years. Here's a quick preview of what's in store.
On a cold London day in February 1887, Wilfred Mennell, the editor of the literary magazine Merry England, received a strange parcel in the post. Inside, he found an essay and a small collection of poems written on tattered paper and covered with dirt and grime. Attached was a note that said,
I must ask your pardon for the soiled state of the manuscript. It is due not to slovenliness, but to the strange places and circumstances under which it has been written.
The note was signed Francis Thompson. There was no return address.
You'll also be amazed by the life of a man who served as Supreme Pontiff for just 33 days through a new movie entitled Pope John Paul I, The Smile of God. We take a look at his poor peasant origins, as well as his election as Pope and his short-lived papacy in this stirring feature presentation. Also among our newest offerings is The Crusades. This new EWTN docudrama miniseries was filmed on location throughout the Holy Land and in Europe, presents the truth of the Crusades and corrects the many modern myths and misperceptions. Combining dramatic reenactments and insights from leading Catholic historians, this program gives viewers a well-rounded understanding of this very important historical event.
People often think that the Crusades were unprovoked wars against the Muslim world. In fact, the Crusades were the end result of several centuries of wars of Muslims against the Christian lands. And in fact, by the time the Crusades had been called in 1095, about 2/3 of the old Christian world had already been conquered.
Or if you'd prefer a theological stroll along the Thames, join Joanna Bogle for Walking Through Time, Catholic London. Now, umbrella and walking shoes are required as she explores the lives of the saints and martyrs that have created the rich Catholic history of London. Come and enjoy the walk, meet some of the people that Joanna encounters on the way, join in prayer in the churches, and soak up the history.
We'll start with the tower out to the east here, and we'll learn the history of the tower, much of which is pretty grim, and the development of London from there. And then I'm going to go out that way, towards Westminster and the most famous parliament in the world, the mother of parliaments. And then we'll explore the South Bank, Shakespeare, Southwark Cathedral and more. And then we'll head out round the curve of the river to Chelsea, once a rural area, and find out about its most famous resident, Thomas More. Then we'll go further out, through the pretty suburbs and the grass, and out towards Kingston, where our Saxon kings were crowned, where England really first began. Come and walk along the river, and 2,000 years of interesting things to explore. Off we go.
So you certainly can see there's a lot to keep up with in the coming months, and that's why you need your Wings. You know, Wings is our exclusive electronic newsletter highlighting EWTN television, radio, and internet programming. It's delivered to you weekly by email. Sign up for your Wings today by going to EWTN.com/everywhere, and then click on where it says Wings e-newsletter. You know, these resources, along with our website, will guide you to all our special seasonal and feast day programming throughout the year, along with our daily rosaries, Divine Mercy Chaplet, the litanies, and of course, the daily Mass. Many people ask us all the time, how do you provide Catholic spiritual growth programming to the masses 24 hours a day and remain commercial free? Well, we receive no funds from the church or from the cable systems and satellite providers that carry us. The secret is simple, it's you. We're 100% viewer supported. As Mother Angelica would say, we're brought to you by you. This truly is your network, and we thank you. And you can help us continue to share the splendor of truth around the globe by making your donation today. To do so, you can just visit our secure website, www.ewtn.com/donate now, and choose between making a one-time donation or perhaps a recurring donation of whatever amount you choose. Your donation, no matter what the size is, helps us bring the Catholic programming you love and others need. It's safe, it's secure, and it's very easy. There's even more to see and enjoy in the coming season, so stay with us and share in the splendor of truth with your global Catholic network, EWTN. Remember, for more information about anything, just log on to EWTN.com. I'm Doug Keck. Thanks for joining us.